Hey everybody, it is me, Vincent. Welcome back to another Vincent Vision. We are here at Islands of Adventure, my favorite park, and in today's video, I want to take you guys around and share some of the smaller details, things you might easily miss when you're going through Islands of Adventure. We're going to be visiting every island to show you some of those smaller details that truly make Islands of Adventure such a beautifully themed park. But before we get into it, please, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to my channel if you're looking for more Universal content like this. A lot of good stuff on here. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get this party started. We're going to be starting here at the entrance of the park over at the Port of Entry. Watch out! So the adventure begins here at Port of Entry, the first land at Islands of Adventure that you have to walk through. And honestly, this sets up such a great impression of this park. Port of Entry, in my opinion, puts the theme at the theme park here at Islands of Adventure. This area of the park is so vibrant, so many wonderful details, such iconic music, but there are a lot of little things to look out for while you're here. And just in general, I find that the theme parks, specifically Islands of Adventure, really tends to reward people for looking up. You know, it's so easy, especially when you get here at the start of the day, to run straight through this area, looking straight ahead at the Velocicoaster, trying to figure out what the wait time is for Hagrid's. But Port of Entry has a lot of little details that can easily go missed. Something I think a lot of people don't realize is this area is littered with animals. Have you guys ever noticed the cats up on the second level of the Port of Entry Christmas shop? There's a whole litter of them over there trying to get into the cage where there's a bird. Over at the entrance of the park, actually right outside the gates to the left, there's a building with birds, there's a big peacock. One of our favorites are the little doves right above the lost and found that are in love, giving each other a cute little kiss. So much stuff to see in this area of the park. It really is like a perfect theme park land without having any rides. Something else I really enjoy is as soon as you go past the Adventure Begins arch, if you look towards your right, there's actually a jail here at the Port of Entry, and it seems as if someone has broken out. You can see the bars are broken. There's those classic bed sheets used as a rope to slide down, and they've even left graffiti where it says, "See ya." There is a wanted poster though next to it for somebody. Obviously looks like a real person. I don't know who they're referencing. I'm going to assume someone who helped build the park around the time, but if anyone happens to know, please leave a comment down below because I've always kind of wondered that myself. For those who don't know the story of Port of Entry and sort of how it relates to the entirety of the park, this is meant to be the port town where all of the different islands of Adventure suddenly appeared, and this community kind of embraced it. They started to sell experiences and excursions to Jurassic Park and Marvel Superhero Island, and you can see that in different advertisements that they have throughout the land. But one of my favorite things is actually at the restaurant here at Port of Entry. It's called Confisco Grill, and this is the customs house. So when people are coming back to the Port of Entry from the park and they're trying to smuggle some dinosaur bones or some hats that belong to certain cats, they confiscate them. And that's why the restaurant is called Confisco. Right behind the host stand, there's actually a whole bunch of funny little confiscated items. I got to go back there and look, and there are some really fun details. There's actually a mirror of Medusa back there that says belongs to Medusa. They have an Iron Man mask. They have an Infinity Gauntlet back over there. Really fun little detail. I love little stuff like that when honestly, I think 90% of the people who come to this park aren't gonna notice that. Port of Entry, so much cool stuff to see in here. I definitely recommend spending some time in this land to take in those smaller details. Our next stop, we're swinging over to Marvel Superhero Island, one of the most exciting areas of Islands of Adventure. And this area has got a lot going on. A lot of big, loud rides like the Hulk and Doctor Doom, tons of vibrant superhero colors, bing, bang, boom, bop. Those are superhero sound effects you can see in the comic books when they're like punching somebody. A lot of larger than life cutouts of some of the world's most famous superheroes and supervillains, but there's actually a bunch of little small references to some more obscure heroes and villains as well in this land. As soon as you're entering the land, right by the giant Wolverine cutout, on the right-hand side, there's a red building, and those are the law offices of Nelson and Murdoch, aka Daredevil. Down Yancey Street, where you find Doctor Doom's Fearfall, there's actually two of my favorite references. There's a big security car over there with a safe hanging from it, but there's a sign for a building that's coming soon, and it's Blaze and Ketch. And this is a reference to two characters who have held the Ghost Rider title, Johnny Blaze and Danny Ketch. Immediately to the right of that, right by the Dr. Doom's entrance, is a big yellow building that's meant to symbolize Osborn Industries. Of course, the headquarters of Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin. But oddly enough, there's not a reference to the Green Goblin there. Instead, there's stone busts of Venom, Spider-Man's most famous villain, anti-hero, sidekick, whatever he happens to be this time of the month. A little further down, as you're getting ready to head out of the land, you can pop into Captain America's Diner. They have all these big cutouts of the heroes and villains. They've got Vision, the Scarlet Witch. One of my favorite things, though, is Thor's hammer. I'm gonna butcher this name. Mjolnir, maybe, is actually smashed through the window of the Captain America Diner. You can see it both inside and outside of the restaurant, which is pretty cool. There's also another reference to Thor along the way. Near MODOK, the big supervillain cutout, there's a reference to Donald Blake. That is Thor's human alias. Whenever he's on planet Earth and he doesn't want to be recognized as Thor, he disguises himself as Donald Blake. One of my kind of favorite superheroes, supervillains, anti-heroes is actually Prince Namor, the Submariner. He has a reference to him that you can only really see outside of the Marvel land. You have to be in Toon Lagoon, out by the water, and you can look out and you can see a building that says Mackenzie down by the water. That's sort of his full name that he goes by, his human alias, kind of like Thor. Tons of cool stuff to talk about with this land. I actually did a video talking about more of the story and fun facts of this land a couple months back. You should check it out. Got a link for it right over here. Watch out. So something that I think a lot of people don't pick up or realize about this next area of the park, Toon Lagoon, is that this land is actually kind of split up into 3 different neighborhoods. This main stretch here, this is called King's Row. This is where you're gonna find all of the theming based off of comics and cartoons that would show up in the Sunday newspaper. The next area over is Sweet Haven. This is the village from Popeye. This is where Popeye's and Bluto's Bill Draft barges are, and we ship the olive. And then the third land is land based off of Jay Ward. Jay Ward is an old cartoonist who did things like Rocky and Bullwinkle, Dudley Do-Right, some pretty recognizable and iconic older cartoons. This area of the park actually has a lot of really great interactive play elements that are easy to miss when you're wringing your socks out because you got drenched on Popeye. Now, the thing with Toon Lagoon is a lot of these cartoons that are in this land are kind of older cartoons, right? There's a lot of deep cuts that a lot of younger kids nowadays maybe don't immediately recognize. But I will say, as someone who did grow up watching Boomerang, the old Cartoon Network channel, with all these old cartoons that show up in this land, I did recognize these 2 guys right over here. This is Aesop and Son. They used to have a little segment on the Rocky and Bullwinkle cartoon show. What's cool about this mural here, this is actually a reference to the opening of the show, where Aesop would chisel his name perfectly on the wall, and Son would come over here and get a big old jackhammer and put his name on there too. And what's cool about the setup here at Toon Lagoon is that the jackhammer actually works. Ready? Pretty cool, huh? One of the oldest cartoons that's referenced here in Toon Lagoon is actually right behind me. This is the Skunk Works back here. This is a little building that's referenced in the town of Dogpatch, where the cartoon character Lil Abner comes from. And what's fun is this little crate full of skunks here, you can hear it laughing as you pass by. It'll shake every so often, and if you're standing at the wrong spot, you'll actually get sprayed with skunk oil or skunk oil. Ew! Don't worry, it's actually just water. Still, fun little detail that's very easy to miss when you're passing through this area. So, I'm gonna show you a classic Toon Lagoon photo op. I know right now the video probably looks a little wonky, but don't worry, it's gonna make sense once I take out Marmaduke the Great Dane out for a little walk. He's a big dog, he might pull me off my feet. And that right there is a little movie magic. Boom! Ahoy, mateys! Our next stop here at Toon Lagoon has brought me into the cargo room of Popeye's ship, the Olive. Me Ship the Olive is an interactive play area that's mostly known for having the water jets that you can shoot people while they're on the Popeye ride. But something that I remember as a kid, that it was gone for a very long time, but is finally back, right down here on the first floor, you can go to these nets, which used to be a play area, and you can look down into the water, and you'll actually see some shark fins. There are sharks circling around the boat. Oh no, submechanophobia warning. Fun little thing that you can see when you're in here. Easy to miss can be seen from the outside of the ship as well. So we were on our way to Jurassic Park, but we've taken a detour and have ended up at Skull Island. Oh, this area, this ride, this land, I don't know. Would you consider this a land? Leave a comment down below and tell me what you think. This ride has some fun details, very scenic ride, a lot of cool stuff to look at, especially as you're going through this queue. But there is one little fun connection to Universal as a whole with this ride that's kind of easy to miss if you're at the wrong place at the wrong time. In the outdoor queue of Skull Island Reign of Kong, there's a radio broadcast that is playing throughout to keep you entertained. They're talking to all the different explorers on the Eighth Wonder Expedition Company, they play some music, but then what'll pop in every so often is a very recognizable chime. Doon, doon, doon. Do you recognize that? That is NBC. NBC also being owned by Comcast, which owns the Universal Parks. They do a lot of stuff together. They filmed a lot of NBC shows here at Universal, and there's even a ride based off of Jimmy Fallon, the NBC talk show host, over at Universal Studios Florida. So this ride here kind of gives us a fun little wink and nod to NBC.
This is Richard Armstrong of the National Broadcasting Company with breaking news on the Eighth Wonder Expedition to Skull Island.
Welcome to Jurassic Park. This land, one of my favorite lands here at Islands of Adventure. There's a lot of big things going on. It's got the gigantic river adventure with its 85-foot drop, the amazing, exciting Velocicoaster, a big level 10 roller coaster here at Universal. But there's some really fun details, small things you can miss passing through here. Little details like this sometimes start on the ground. The manholes here in Jurassic Park are Jurassic Park themed. Be on the lookout for those next time you're passing through. We are filming this in the Jurassic Park River Adventure queue. As soon as you walk into the line for this ride, there's this giant model that you can see. This actually has a little bit of history to it. You don't really spend too much time in this area because the lines never backed up all the way over here. This model actually represents kind of a lost history of the Jurassic Park land. Originally, when this land first opened, the plans for it were completely different. There was going to be a ride called Helicopters, where you would fly over the island on a helicopter. There was going to be a Jeep safari in the place of Skull Island. You can see that this model has those ride plans and also some real things that ended up being in the Jurassic Park land. Definitely take some time to look at it. It is a very, very cool detail that is easy to miss here in Jurassic Park. We have made it to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, a popular area of the park, no doubt the most popular area with the most amount of secrets and fun facts that have been told a millions and zillions of times. I don't really have too much I want to say in this area. I have done videos about this part of the land, specifically with Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. This ride is loaded with tons of details and fun facts and secrets, even just waiting through the queue. One of my favorites though, and one that is super easy to miss, is as you're going through the regular line, when you're passing through the dungeons, that first section before you head outside, there's a statue of the one-eyed witch. And while it's really pretty to look at, in that same little area, there's actually a door that is the office of Severus Snape. A really fun detail and a nod to a fan favorite character. Here in the village as well, there are some other fun things to point out. Like I said earlier, these theme parks really reward people for looking up, and that is no exception here in Hogsmeade Village, specifically the owl post. I know you've probably sat in there before to kind of get out of the heat, but have you ever actually looked up and noticed how many owls there are hanging up there? And also, they all move. They flutter their wings, they close their eyes. There's even authentic bird poop. But what's even fun, and something I think is such a really cool thing that takes it a step even further, is that if you go into the actual Owl Post building, like the shop, where they sell all the wands, up on the second levels, they have places where the owls sleep and rest. I'm a big fan of themed continuity like this. They actually have an opening for the owls to leave the Owl Post to go out and fly out. So it's all connected, makes this land feel so much more realistic, that much more immersive. Our next adventure brings us to the Lost Continent, a land that, based in mythology, is starting to kind of create its own myths and legends of things that used to be here. Behind me is the former Poseidon's Fury attraction, and the little thing that's easy to miss here in Lost Continent is actually inside Mythos Restaurant across the street, which, by the way, If you've never eaten Mythos before, it's a really great restaurant. You should try to find yourself over there at some point in your visit here to Universal. If you go down towards kind of like the back as if you're going towards the restrooms, there is none other than Poseidon's Trident sitting there with a nice light on it on all its glory. And it looks to be like one of the actual tridents used in the former Poseidon's Fury show. So, Lord Darkanon, if you're watching this video, the trident is at Mythos Restaurant. You don't have to fight Poseidon to get it anymore. This next little segment, I'm gonna try something a little different here, okay? I'm gonna try to do speed coloring while I talk about this area of the park. You see, we are here in Seuss Landing, the children's area of Islands of Adventure, and this area's got tons of fun lore and details and really great history, tons of stuff. But one thing that is constant is that all of this would not be here if it were not for Dr. Seuss himself. He wrote over 60 of these classic books that kids know and love and grew up with. And you're probably wondering, he's Dr. Seuss. Surely, he's all over this area. They show him tons of love. Not really. There's not really any noticeable references to Dr. Seuss, with the exception of one. So Dr. Seuss actually does appear in this land when you are walking into the park from Lost Continent next to the Mulberry Street gift shop. Dr. Seuss is actually up there on the bandstand with two other gentlemen. He's very recognizable. He's got his big black framed glasses, that white hair, his beard. That is the man, the myth, the legend, the real deal, Dr. Seuss. And that is where you can find him here in Seuss Landing. And with the time that it took me to explain that, I came up with this. That's not too bad. It's the cat in the purple hat, I have to say. Pink birthday cake, but I got some little black squiggles for the cat. I think it's pretty great. Works for me. Oh, Lorax likes, no. Here, it's the cat in the hat. It's the cat in the hat. Yeah! Okay, well, I'll draw a Lorax if I can. Hold on. All right, we made the Lorax drawing. We made the Lorax. Let's see if he sees it. Lorax! No, he didn't see it. Oh my gosh. What a sad end. That's okay. Well, we have this drawing for us. I think it's pretty good. Well, there you have it, my friends. We've done a whole loop around Islands of Adventure, and hopefully in this video, I get to show you guys some things you had never seen before. Thank you guys for watching another VincentVision. Like I said at the top of this video, if you're looking for more Universal content like this, please like this video. Please subscribe to my channel. You're gonna find a lot more of it. Tons of fun stuff. I love going around the parks. I hope you guys had fun having fun with me. If you're looking to support me a little extra further, like all these wonderful people around me, please consider joining my Patreon. Some really big fun stuff coming very, very soon. Can't wait to tell you guys all about it in just a little bit. But apart from that, I am gonna get on out of here. Look at this little detail right over here. Here, look down here. You see it? You see it? I'm just kidding. There's nothing up there. Thank you guys. Oh, she hit me with the camera. Thank you guys for watching another VincentVision. I'll see you at the next one. Watch out.